The shadowed one, Eron, keeps his glow tucked inside him, the way a memory keeps its ache. They have no words. Only motion. Only the echo of each orbit that repeats like a heartbeat in the dark. And then, from a place neither above nor below, a traveler comes. He is small against the sweep of space, a flicker of life, carried on a fragment of stardust. His name, whispered only by the wind between constellations, is Eron. He moves not with haste, but with wonder, as if the emptiness itself were guiding him onward. He lifts one, holds it to the light of Solara, and it glows brighter, infused with her radiance. Then he casts it toward Eron, and the thread stretches outward, trembling, until it catches upon the rim of shadow. The thread quivers between them, fragile, beautiful, alive. That is the first bridge. It is not a bridge to walk upon. It is a bridge of listening, a bridge of intention. Eron closes his eyes and feels the faint vibration of it through his fingertips. It hums in two notes, one luminous, one dark. Together they make a harmony neither could have sung alone. He breathes, and in that breath, the silence changes. The stars continue their slow revolutions, indifferent yet attentive. Time moves not in seconds, but in sighs. Eron continues his weaving. Each night, though night and day, mean nothing. Here he draws another thread from his pack. Each one sings a different tone, each one anchored between Solara's glow and Eron's shadow. Slowly, the space fills with silver strands that arc like the ribs of a celestial harp. He never rushes. There is peace in the rhythm. Lift, tie, release. The act itself becomes his meditation. Sometimes he hums along with the threads, and the sound carries through the void like a lullaby no one taught him. Solara watches. Eron listens. Light flows across the threads, chasing darkness, and darkness folds around the light, cooling its brilliance. A soft pulse begins to flow between them, faint as a heartbeat at rest. Eron feels it against his skin. The bridge is learning to breathe. He lies upon Solara's surface when his strength wanes. Her soil is dust and silver frost. He closes his eyes, and though there is no air, no wind, he imagines he can hear her whisper a murmur made of reflected sunlight. She says nothing clear, only a tone like forgiveness. It fills the hollow inside him that once was restless. When he wakes again, he works, thread by thread. The distance shrinks not in space, but in feeling. Eron begins to glow, a little warmer. Touched by Solara's reflection, Solara dims a little softer, soothed by Verons.com. They are changing one another through him, through the bridge that carries no footsteps. Eron wonders if this is how peace is made, not by reaching, but by understanding. He remembers his home, long forgotten, a world where people built walls instead of bridges, where silence meant separation. Here, silence means connection. Here, silence. Bliss is back. When the 1000th thread is set, Eron rests beside his work. The bridge arcs between the moons like a sliver of dawn caught between two dreams. It hums in tones so low and sweet that the nearby stars dim their light to listen. He feels its pulse beneath him and realizes it is alive not as creatures are, but as rivers are, flowing without beginning or end. He reaches out a hand and touches the center strand. The vibration enters him, runs along his bones, fills his chest with warmth. He thinks he hears voices, but not words, just feelings translated into sound. He understands then. The moons are speaking through his bridge. Solara sends her brightness, her longing to be known. Eron returns his steadiness, his quiet wish to be enough. Their lights mingle across the threads, creating colors that have no names. Eron smiles. He feels himself dissolving into the glow. The universe whispers, not yet. He accepts the message. He kneels instead and presses his palms to the fading threads. He lets the urge to travel fade into the peace of remaining. Patience, he thinks, is another kind of bridge. He waits days, centuries, or maybe only moments. The bridge hums around him. He feels his heartbeat aligning with it until he can no longer tell where he ends and it begins. Solara and Eron draw closer, not by distance, but by sympathy. Their lights overlap at the midpoint, and for the first time in endless ages, they share warmth directly. Eron gazes upon the sight and feels a tear slip down his cheeky, one drop of silver drifting away into the weightless night. It freezes, becoming a new star. He thinks perhaps the universe grows each time someone understands something beautiful. Still, his work is not finished. He senses there is one final thread, missing the thread of himself. He rises slowly, feeling the light gather around him. He opens his hands, and the silver dust that has clung to his skin begins to lift away. It swirls, luminous, and forms a thread finer than breath. He offers it to the bridge, and it accepts. Eron watches the merging, feels the resonance in his bones. He knows the moment has come. He steps forward again, and this time the bridge holds. The threads feel warm under his feet, pliant, yet strong. Each step he takes releases a soft chord, a note that ripples through the cosmos. The sound is neither music nor silence. It is the memory of connection made manifest. He moves slowly, reverently. Behind him, Solara's light follows like dawn. Ahead, Veron's shadow opens like an invitation. He walks between them, not to arrive anywhere, but to experience the space of meeting. When he reaches the midpoint, he stops. Above him, the stars form a gentle spiral. Below him, the threads of the bridge sway like grass in a wind that does not exist. Here, the boundaries between light and dark dissolve. All that remains is a luminous stillness. Eron closes his eyes and listens. He hears the heartbeat of both moons, alternating, intertwining, two notes, making one song. He feels himself stretch thin as light, spread wide as the silence between stars. For a moment, he forgets his name, his body, his longing. He becomes only breath, and in that breath, he hears the faintest whisper, "Soft asleep now, you understand." The whisper fades, yet its meaning stays. It settles inside Eron like moonlight seeping into water, quiet but endless. He opens his eyes, and the universe feels different, wider, slower, kind. He stands upon the bridge and gazes toward Varen. The dark moon no longer looks distant. Its surface glows with a soft pulse, as though it has learned to smile. Solara's light slides across the threads, bathing them in silver that drifts like mist. For the first time, the two moons are not two, they are halves of one sigh. Eron moves. Again, he kneels and lays his hand against the ground. It hums faintly beneath his palm, the same pulse he heard through the bridge. He sits there for a long while, perhaps hours, perhaps centuries, letting stillness wrap around him like a blanket. Above, the bridge sways in slow rhythm, a living arc between moons. Light travels along it continuously, neither beginning nor ending, just flow. Eron lets go of everything he thought he was. He breathes out the last of his need to achieve, to finish, to define. In its place grows a gentle acceptance. He has built something that no one will ever walk across, yet it holds the weight of meaning. He feels complete. But completion, he learns, is not the end. It is the opening of another silence. The silence deepens until he hears it singing. He understands now why Solara glows and why Varen rests in dusk. One reflects the joy of being, the other carries the peace of returning. Both are necessary. The bridge between them hums with that balance. It is the breath between beginnings and endings. Eron lies back and lets his eyes close. In the rhythm, he feels himself dissolving, not dying, just loosening, like a cord released from tension. Light spreads from his body in quiet waves. It travels up the threads, across the span, through every fiber of the bridge. Solara Varen deepens. The two moons meet in perfect harmony, their lights folding into one another until no boundary remains. When the glow fades, Eron is gone. Or rather, he has become part of what he built. His thoughts drift within the light, soft and endless, like an echo that will never stop moving. Travelers passing through distant systems glimpse it in wonder. They give it many names. The silver vein, the quiet rainbow, the path of sleep. But among those who listen closely, It is said to be the echo of understanding the bridge between what is known and what waits to be known. On clear nights, when the silence of space deepens enough to be heard, the bridge hums faintly. And if one could translate its tone, it would say, "There is no distance that light cannot learn to cross." And on one of those worlds, a listener tilts their head, feeling calm without knowing why. They close their eyes, and the story of two moons drifts through their dreams. A reminder that separation is only the shadow of connection, that silence can sing, that even the farthest lights can meet halfway. When the alignment ends, the moons drift apart again, yet they are never the same. Solara carries a trace of shadow within her glow. Eron holds a thread of silver in his dusk. And the bridge remains. It no longer needs tending. It hums on its own, steady and content.